Hey, High Desert Tech here. We've got Odin and Freya going to help us do the review today. We have a really fun video planned for you. Odin, here's a biscuit for you, and Freya, can you get a biscuit? Here you go. All right, on to the video. So what we're going to do today is we're going to move the motherboard and contents from this NZXT H500 case to the right into this new case I just bought to the left. It's a Coolmaster NR600, Master Box NR600. I really like the NZXT case, however, it doesn't have very good airflow, and my whole system is based on airflow and fans and not water. So we're going to take everything and move it from here to here. The NR600 is a fairly new case. It has a mesh front. It's really nice, and unlike Meshify C, it doesn't have a foam filter or anything. You just wipe off the front, so it's really nice. So what we're going to do here, what I've got over here, just so you know what I'm going to do, is I've got a X570 Gigabyte Aorus Wi-Fi Pro motherboard here. I've got a 3800X AMD processor. I've got a Noctua NH-U12A cooler, and I've got a new PowerColor 5700 XT Red Dragon graphics card. So we're going to take all this out, we're going to put it all over here, hoping for better airflow and cooler temperatures. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to do a time lapse of that, so it's going to speed it up for you. You don't have to wait through the whole thing, but at least you can see what I'm doing and get an idea how you could do it yourself. After that, we're going to do a recap of what I thought about the NR600, my reaction to it, pluses and minuses, etc. So click like and subscribe. The desert is calling and I must go. Hi, Desert Tech here. Hey, I want to do a recap on the Coolmaster NR600 versus NZXT H500 build. So what I did is I moved from the NZXT H500 to the NR600. So these comments kind of pertain to the differences in those two. So let me just go through some of the items about this case. It is a pretty affordable case. It's around $69. It's cheaper than the NZXT, but there's some real advantages to it and some disadvantages I wanted to go over. One of them is that the construction on the NR600 is good, but I would say not excellent. It's thinner metal, and the H500 has a thicker metal. It just seems more quality. However, the thinner metal is lighter and the thicker metal is heavier. So you have a trade-off right there as to the weight of your system. On the NR600, there's no captive thumb screw. So I was a little disappointed at that. I was used to the NZXT captive thumb screw system, which retains the thumb screw. No big deal. What else? There's no single front panel connection. And what I mean is when you connect your front panel to the motherboard, a lot of the newer cases have an integrated kind of it's a one-piece front panel connector. It's really nice. And my motherboard, which is the X570 Gigabyte Aorus Wi-Fi Pro, that supports that new connection, but I didn't see that on the NR600, even though it's supposed to be a new case. So what I did is I connected all the separate little pieces together. There's like all these little pins that you have to get to the front pin. Other things, power cables. When I inserted the power, the UPS in the back there, the power system, there wasn't much room for the cables that are coming out. When they exit out of the power box into the case, there's a strut there, and I can't get past that. And there was still room to move it and use it, but it wasn't as much room as I'm used to. The NZXT H500 has a lot more room in that category. However, there is good rear motherboard room. I think there's more room in the back for your cables, a little bit more room, not a lot, but a little bit more room than the H500, a little bit more room than I'm used to. So it's really nice for cable management in the back of the motherboard. Also, I noticed that obviously a big plus is there's a lot more airflow in the NR600 box. I put a lot more fans, and there's a front grill. There's a 2 fan top grill. In the H500 there's only 1. Of course, there's an exit fan, and there is some bottom filtering, but not any room for fans. I noticed that the magnetic grill on the top was slightly bent as shipped. No big deal, but it should have been obviously perfect. The bottom filter is flimsy. It's almost like a piece of paper, and it just fell off. And I don't think I need it anyway, but I'm just saying the bottom filter is totally inadequate, and I don't know what to say. I just decided to not use it. Let's see, there's more room between the top fans and the motherboard. Sometimes you get, and that might help you if you have a radiator. This is an all air build here. But if you have a radiator, you might appreciate there's just a little bit more room. I'd say half an inch, maybe more room between the edge of the top fan and the motherboard than the H500. One of the biggest disappointments, one of the biggest things I ran into when I was first doing this build is that this thing is advertised to support 140 millimeter fans. So what I wanted to do was to put 2 140 millimeter fans into the front instead of the 3 120. I just like that. I have less fan headers on my motherboard. That's exactly how I wanted to do it. It does work on the top well, but on the front it has pre-cut for 120s, for 3 120s. You can put a 140s, 2 140s in there, but it blocks part of the fan. So you have three 120 millimeter circular openings, and if you put two 140s in there, you're not going to get all your airflow. So I had to make a kind of a quick decision there to go back to the three 120s. However, that made me have to insert a splitter at one point because I just didn't have enough fan headers on my motherboard. So anyway, that's just a quick recap of the case. I do like it. I was going for more airflow, and it has way more airflow than the H500. So that part is really accomplished. It is a lighter case, and it like I say, if you're going for airflow, this is good. So into that, I hope you liked the video. Click like and subscribe. The desert is calling and I must go.